There is a woman in my neighborhood who is 73 years old, and strangers stop her in the grocery store to ask if she's her own daughter. I am not exaggerating. I watched it happen at the deli counter last month. And the secret is not a cream, it is not a procedure, and it is not the genes she was handed. It is 5 foods she eats almost every single day. Foods most women your age have never even heard of, or have heard of and dismissed. And one of them is sitting in the produce section right now for less than $3. I'm going to give you the exact 5 foods that make women over 60 look 20 years younger. By the end of this video, you're going to know which one to start with this week. How my own mama at 88 is still using #1 every single morning, and the one missing piece these foods alone cannot give you after the age of 60. Stay with me, because #2 is the food 9 out of 10 doctors will never mention, and #1 is the cheapest of all 5. My name is Jada Brown. For over 50 years, I have been carrying old school wellness wisdom passed down to me by my mother and her mother before her, all the way back to the islands. My grandmother lived to 94 with skin like polished wood. Her sister made it to 91. My own mama is 88, and she can still tell you exactly which neighbor's grandbaby is whose. 5 generations of women in our line, and we keep our minds, our skin, and our dignity right up to the end. The reason isn't magic. It is what we put on the plate and one quiet thing we add that the food alone cannot do. Let me tell you why this matters more after 60 than at any other point in your life. My grandmother used to say all healing starts in the belly. Every single thing. Your skin, your sleep, your moods, your aches, the puffiness in your face that wasn't there 3 years ago. It all begins in that one place. And the laboratories have finally caught up to her. Researchers now know that after the age of 60, the good bacteria in your gut, the ones that keep your skin tight and your inflammation down and your hormones balanced, drop by nearly half. Half, baby. Gone. And once they are gone, the foods you eat are no longer being broken down the way they were at 40. The healing compounds in food are not getting absorbed. The skin-building nutrients are not reaching your skin. The fire under your face will not go out. Hold that fact in your hand. Half your gut bacteria missing by 60. Because every food I am about to give you and the one piece I add at the end traces back to it. Let's count down. #5, wild-caught fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel, anchovies. The ones with the deep pink and silver flesh that swim in cold water. These fish carry an oil called omega-3, and after 60, this is the single most important nutrient for your skin. It works 2 ways. It puts out the fire of inflammation that breaks down collagen, and it builds the fatty layer right under your skin that gives your face that soft, plump, lit from within look you had in your 40s. When that layer thins out, your face goes from rounded to drawn, almost overnight, and most women blame it on weight loss. It is not weight loss, baby. It is the layer underneath collapsing. A study out of the University of Maryland followed women between 65 and 75 for 5 years. The ones eating wild-caught fatty fish 3 times a week had skin elasticity scores 40% higher than the ones who didn't. 40%. Off a single food. 2 times a week? That is the dose. A small can of wild sardines on a piece of sourdough is one of the cheapest, most powerful skin meals you will ever eat. My mama eats them with a squeeze of lemon and a slice of red onion, the way her mother did. And please look for wild-caught, not farmed. The farmed ones are fed grain and the oil is not the same. But the next one is the one 9 out of 10 doctors will never mention. #4, fermented foods, real ones. Sauerkraut from the refrigerator section, not the shelf. Plain unsweetened kefir, kimchi, miso. The old world foods our grandmothers made because they had no refrigerator and no choice. Fermented foods carry living bacteria, the same kind your gut is losing as you age. When you eat them, you are quite literally feeding your face. Researchers at the University of California found that women over 60 who ate fermented foods at least 5 times a week had measurably less skin inflammation, fewer age spots, and tighter pores than women who ate none. The lab caught up to the kitchen, like always. But here is what I have to tell you straight. After 60, your gut has lost so much of its bacterial population that fermented foods alone often cannot rebuild it. They help. They are the foundation. But they are not enough on their own anymore. We are going to come back to that because it is the whole reason most women hit a wall with diet alone after 65. Stay close, For now, a spoonful of real sauerkraut with dinner, 5 days a week. Plain kefir in the morning. That is a starting point. And please, the cheap stuff in the middle aisles labeled kraut is vinegar and cabbage. It is dead. It does nothing. The real one is in the cold section, and it bubbles when you open the jar. The next food is one you've probably been told to avoid your whole life. Number 3, pasture-raised egg yolks. Yes, the yolks. The yellow part, the part the magazines told you to throw away for 40 years. The yolk is the most concentrated source of 3 things your 60-plus skin desperately needs. Choline, which keeps the membrane around every single skin cell strong and flexible. Lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 compounds that protect your skin from UV damage from the inside out, the way a built-in sunscreen would if you could swallow one. And bioavailable vitamin A, which is the same active ingredient in retinol creams, except it actually reaches your skin instead of just sitting on the surface. A study out of Korea looked at women in their 60s and 70s and found that those eating 2 whole eggs daily had skin hydration markers 30% higher than non-egg eaters. The women who ate only egg whites, no improvement at all. The yolk was doing the work, baby. Always was. 2 whole eggs in the morning. Soft-boiled, scrambled in butter, poached on a piece of avocado toast. Look for the orange-yolked, pasture-raised ones. The yolk should be deep orange, almost red. That is the color of medicine. The pale yellow yolks from grain-fed birds carry a fraction of the nutrients. But the next one is going to surprise you because it is something you have probably been throwing in the trash your whole life. Number 2, dark leafy greens cooked with fat. I'm talking collards, kale, spinach, Swiss chard, and not raw in a salad, baby. Cooked, wilted in butter or olive oil. The way every grandmother in the world has been making them for 200 years. Here is what nobody tells you. The single most important compound in dark leafy greens for women over 60 is vitamin K2. It is what stops calcium from depositing in your skin and your blood vessels, where it shows up as those little hard bumps and that crepey, leathery texture, and instead routes that calcium back into your bones, where you actually need it. After 60, your body's ability to process vitamin K drops sharply. Cooking the greens unlocks the K. Eating them with fat absorbs it. Raw spinach in a cold salad? You are getting almost nothing. A study out of the Netherlands followed nearly 5,000 women for over a decade. Those eating cooked leafy greens with fat at least 4 times a week had bone density and skin elasticity scores equivalent to women 10 years younger. 10 years. Off a side dish. A bunch of collards sliced thin, simmered slow in olive oil with a clove of garlic and a pinch of salt. That is medicine on a plate. My grandmother made a version of this every single week of her life. And the cheapest greens at the grocery store, the ones nobody buys, are the ones with the most nutrients in them. Now, baby, take a breath. Because the master food, the cheapest of all 5, is the one I want you to start with this week. If you do nothing else from this video, do this one. Number 1, bone broth. Real slow-simmered bone broth. The kind that turns to jelly in the refrigerator. Bone broth is the single most powerful skin food on the planet for women our age, and I will tell you why. When you simmer beef or chicken bones for 20 hours with a little vinegar, the collagen in those bones breaks down into something called hydrolyzed collagen peptides. Those peptides are tiny enough to actually pass through your gut wall into your bloodstream and reach your skin. They land in the same layer of your face that has been thinning since you turned 40, and they begin rebuilding it from the inside. A study out of Germany gave women between 60 and 70 a daily serving of collagen-rich broth for 12 weeks. At the end of the study, 83% showed measurable improvements in skin elasticity, hydration, and depth of fine lines. 83% off a cup of broth a day. And the women in the study who already had healthier guts, they responded faster. Hold that peace. We are coming back to it. A coffee mug of warm bone broth in the morning with a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. That is the protocol. You can buy it pre-made in the freezer section of any decent grocery store, or you can simmer a chicken carcass yourself the way my mama still does on a Sunday afternoon. It is the cheapest of all 5 foods, and it is the one I see make women's faces change the fastest. So you do all 5? You eat the wild fish twice a week. You spoon the kraut. You bring back the yolks. You wilt your greens in butter. You drink your broth. And here is what is going to happen. You are going to feel better. Your skin is going to start holding light again. Your belly is going to settle. your sleep is going to deepen. And you are going to get 60, maybe 70% of the way home. But you are going to hit a wall because food is the foundation. It is not the whole house. And what stops most women cold at 65 is the one thing the food cannot fix on its own, the half of your gut bacteria that's already gone. Let me tell you why this matters. Every single one of those 5 foods, the salmon, the kraut, the yolks, the greens, the broth, has to be broken down by bacteria in your gut before your skin can use any of it. The omega-3 has to be processed. The collagen peptides have to be cleaved. The vitamin K has to be activated. And the bacteria that do that work, after 60, half of them are missing. So you can eat the cleanest, most beautiful plate of food in the world, and your body is only absorbing a fraction of it. The rest passes through, wasted. This is why I see so many women in their late 60s get frustrated. They clean up the diet, they do everything right, and they still feel halfway healed. It is not their fault. It is not the food. It is the missing soil in the garden. Let me tell you what I do, my people. Because I get this question every single day, and I am going to answer it once plainly. For years, I tried everything. The yogurts, the expensive probiotics in the cooler at the health food store, the fancy capsules my doctor friends were taking. Some helped a little, most did nothing. And one day my mama, 88 years old and sharp as a knife, looked at me and said, "Baby, you are planting seeds in dead soil and wondering why nothing grows." That is when it clicked. In the garden, you need 3 things. The seed, the soil that feeds the seed, and the fruit the seed produces. Probiotics by themselves are just seeds. If your soil is empty, those seeds die before they take root. You also need prebiotic fiber, which is the food the bacteria eat. And you need postbiotics, which are the actual healing compounds the bacteria make once they are alive and working. Most folks only take a probiotic and wonder why nothing changes. You need all 3: seed, soil, fruit. I looked for years for something that did all 3 in one place, made for women our age, that I could actually trust. And what I landed on is something called Buchbod. It is a kombucha gummy with a 5-in-1 formula. The seed is a clinically studied probiotic strain called lactospore. The soil is the prebiotic fiber that feeds it. And the fruit is a postbiotic strain called Postbiotics LM1004, which is what your skin and your belly are actually waiting on. It also has dandelion root and slippery elm. My mama used to brew those up in our kitchen back in the islands when anyone's belly was acting up. Now they are in a gummy I can keep on my counter. And honey, that part matters. Because by 65, swallowing capsules is not the same as it was at 40. So many women my age have a drawer full of pills they have stopped taking because they don't go down right anymore. A gummy you actually look forward to is a gummy you actually take, and the supplement you actually take is the only one that works. Over 30,000 women are on it now, and it is the missing piece I was looking for. I had a neighbor, Eleanor, 71, retired school teacher up in Bozeman, Montana. She came to me last spring because her face looked, in her own words, deflated. We started her on the 5 foods: the broth in the morning, the yolks, the greens. By week 8, she felt better, but she told me, "Miss Jada, the changes are real, but I feel like I'm only halfway home." So I gave her Buchbod for the last 8 weeks. By week 16, she sent me a picture I will never forget. The food gave her 60%. The gummy gave her the rest. If you want to try it, the link is in the description. It comes with a 60-day guarantee, which is the only reason I will mention it to women my age. You take it for 2 months. If your skin, your belly, and your sleep are not better, you send it back and you don't pay for it. That is the deal. I would not put my name next to anything less. And as always, please speak to your doctor before starting any supplement, especially if you are on medication. Now, my people, take a breath with me. This is not really about the foods on your plate. This is about the mornings ahead of you. This is about kneeling in your garden at 78, your hands in the dirt, your back not betraying you, your knees still working. This is about your grandbabies running into your kitchen and seeing the same grandma they have always known, the soft hands and the bright eyes, not a tired stranger they have to learn all over again. It is never too late, child. The body at 70, 75, 80 can still heal. It can still rebuild. I have watched it happen with my own eyes 1,000 times. If this video has helped you today, hit subscribe so I know to keep showing up for you. Many of the women who write me thought they were already subscribed and weren't. 2 seconds. Costs you nothing. But the most important thing, my people, is the link in the description. Buchbod. The missing piece your belly has been asking for. 60-day guarantee. No risk to you. If you take one thing from me today, take that. Until next time, eat the broth, love the yolks, and take care of that beautiful belly. That's where the years live. Your Auntie Jada.